An F-rank student, the weakest in his entire school, steps directly in front of a king-class monster that could level a city. His legs are shaking. He's ranked dead last. Then he looks the beast in the eye and says, "Come get me. I'm way juicier." And somehow, it works. Picture a world where your rank is literally your worth as a human being. The strong walk like gods. The weak crawl like insects. And somewhere in the middle of this brutal hierarchy, there's a scrawny, unremarkable kid named Subai who looks like he couldn't fight his way out of a paper bag. He's been here 3 years. Transmigrated from another world. Dropped into this one with no warning, no guide, and no allies. But here's the thing about Subai. He's not scared. He's not overwhelmed. If anything, he looks almost hungry. Because Subai has a secret that would make every warrior in this world lose sleep. An ancient demon god lives inside him. Not a metaphor. Not a title. A literal ancient entity of immense power, dormant inside his body, feeding off one very specific thing: malice. The killing intent, the hatred, the contempt that other people direct at him. Every insult, every threat, every moment someone genuinely wants him dead, that's fuel. That's food. And right now, the demon god is at 99% activation. 1% away from fully unlocking. Subai just needs to keep the hatred coming. His strategy is simple. Stay ranked F, the lowest possible. Keep looking weak. Keep getting treated like garbage. And let the malice roll in. It is, objectively, the most unhinged power farming plan in history. And it is absolutely working. The story opens in a school hallway. Subai is walking quietly when a group of students spots him and immediately starts performing for each other. "Isn't this our school's famous weakling?" one of them says, loud enough for everyone nearby to hear. Students nearby physically step away from him like proximity to Subai might be contagious. Subai keeps walking. Internally, the system fires off a quiet notification. Balance detected. Purity increased by 0.01%. This isn't even a snack for him, he thinks, completely deadpan. Then one of them makes a joke about him smelling like crab, about not taking a bath. And Subai, rather than ignoring it, turns around and calls the guy out for being a rich brat with nothing better to do. The student absolutely loses it. Face going red, fists clenching, he yells that he'll kill Subai for that. And deep inside Subai's mind, something ancient and hungry stirs. Yes, he thinks, voice completely calm. Just like that. Get angry. Want to kill me. He is farming these people like crops. Now, the big day arrives, the school-wide bloodline awakening exam. This is the moment every student has been waiting for. You place your hand on a scanner, the machine reads your bloodline, and your rank is assigned. It determines everything: your future, your social standing, whether your classmates treat you like a person or a piece of furniture. Students line up, nervous and excited. One by one they scan in. B rank, C rank, a few A ranks that get polite applause. And then Subai's name is called. The laughter starts before he even reaches the machine. Students in the crowd are already placing bets on what letter they'll hand him. F seems too generous to some of them. Subai places his hand on the scanner, and the machine goes absolutely haywire. Every display in the exam room starts flickering. Alarms fire. Professors scramble. One of them reads the energy output and goes pale. Beast-level signature, he breathes. This is reading like a monster, not a human bloodline. The whole room erupts into chaos. Security is called. Someone is shouting about a beast breach. And then they look at the readings again. It's coming from the scanner. From the student who just placed his hand on it. The identity is confirmed. Subai, exam room, 287. Within seconds, in a back room, Professor Chin is called. Quietly, urgently. The results are changed. The machine is recalibrated. And moments later, the official announcement rings through the hall. Subai, F-rank bloodline. The crowd erupts in laughter. All that commotion, all those alarms, and the kid is just an F, lowest possible score. Some of them are literally crying laughing. The same people who were nervous moments ago are now howling. And Subai, standing at the scanner with the most neutral expression in the world, thinks, rank F is perfect. If it were S rank, people wouldn't dare talk to me. The system ticks up. 99.5%. Still short. Still needs more. I bet you didn't see that coming. They literally rigged the results to hide what he is. And not even Subai is bothered by it. Because the cover story helps him. Now we meet the first real antagonist of the early arc, young Master Tai. Wealthy, arrogant, the kind of guy who was born assuming the world owed him something. He rolls up to Subai with his crew and makes it a public performance. He asks, loudly, who was groveling on the floor earlier, implying it was Subai, even though it wasn't. Then he tells his crew to beat Subai unconscious. Not quietly, out loud. Beat him to a pole. Kill him. I'll take the heat. The system fires again. Lethal intent detected. Malice plus 0.05%. Subai, internally, is practically vibrating with excitement. Harder, he thinks. Put some real hate into it. And then a woman walks into the hallway. The crowd goes dead silent. Not because of anything dramatic she did. She simply appeared. Students are immediately tripping over their own words. Who is this woman? Look at those legs. She has to be at least S rank. The presence she carries makes even confident students physically shrink. Subai's internal monologue fires off like a system alert of his own. Malice severed. Progress paused. He is furious. This woman just walked through the middle of his carefully arranged hatred harvest like she owns the place. He needs those people angry at him. He needs this moment. Tai, apparently immune to reading the room, tells her to leave and invites her for drinks. She doesn't reply. Tai's crew moves on her instead. She doesn't lift a single finger. Telekinesis, invisible, effortless, absolute, and every one of them drops. The crowd's murmuring reaches a new pitch. She didn't even touch them. She has to be SS rank. The woman crouches near Subai and asks if he's okay. Her voice is gentle, concerned. Subai internally is screaming. You should have let them get a few more hits in. She misreads him entirely. She looks at his expression and decides he must be humiliated and hiding it behind a neutral face. Don't worry, she tells him softly. No one will hurt you again. Tai, because he has apparently not learned a single lesson from watching his entire crew get dropped without contact, threatens to call his uncle, an S-rank master from the Jew family. The woman is completely unbothered. The Jew family is nothing to me. The uncle arrives, and it turns out he's actually Principal Xiao, the A-rank lightning user who effectively runs the school's enforcement. He raises a crackling palm towards Subai, charged and ready to fire. Subai, internally, lights up like a kid on his birthday. Finally, hit me with lightning. Xiao freezes mid-motion. He's recognized the woman. His face drains of color. His lightning flickers out. The crowd begins whispering with increasing urgency, and then someone puts it together. God of War. Nightfrost. The Northern Empress. Yi Shuang. The whispers ripple through the hallway like a shockwave. Yi Shuang, who awakened an SS-rank bloodline at 18. Yi Shuang, who soloed the Abyss Dragon, something that entire military divisions had failed to put down. Yi Shuang, who is, by basically every metric, one of the most dangerous individuals alive. Xiao stumbles over his words and calls the whole thing a misunderstanding. A mistake. Terribly sorry for the trouble. Subai stands in the middle of all of this with an expression that can only be described as someone whose dinner reservation just got canceled. I am absolutely screwed, he thinks. Yi Shuang gives Tai a formal disciplinary strike and then addresses the crowd. Some people have low-rank bloodlines, she says calmly, and are worth 100 times more than trash. She doesn't explain what she means. She doesn't need to. The crowd immediately starts whispering that Subai must be a secret government weapon. A sleeper agent. Something classified. Don't encourage me, Subai thinks, staring into the middle distance. So let's recap where we are. Our guy transmigrated into an elite martial arts world. He's hosting an ancient demon god that feeds on malice. He's deliberately ranked F, so people bully him. He just survived a bloodline exam that broke the machine, had his results secretly changed, watched his bully's entire crew get dropped telekinetically, and has now been accidentally adopted as a protected asset by the strongest woman alive. His plans are in ruins. The malice is drying up, and the one person guaranteed to stop everyone from ever targeting him again has just moved herself into his orbit. But there is one thing Subai does not yet know about Yi Shuang. She cannot read him correctly, not even slightly. Every single thing he does, every cold deflection, every self-destructive choice, every "I don't need help," she interprets as noble, selfless sacrifice. She is always wrong about his reasons, and she is always accidentally right about the outcome. This dynamic is going to define the entire story. For now, though, the hallway clears. Tai slinks off with what remains of his dignity. Xiao retreats, and Yi Shuang walks away having decided, apparently, that Subai is her business from here on out. Our guy watches her go. The system sits at 99.5%. He is one devastating percent away from unlocking his first true ability. And the next major event is already being scheduled. The day after the hallway incident, the school announces a combat simulation test. Students will pair up and head to the edge of a hunting zone to practice against low-tier beasts. Simple enough for anyone with a real rank. For Subai, it's basically a trip to a buffet. If he can just get enough monsters angry at him, he might close that last 0.5%. There's one problem. He hasn't joined a group. That's when Lin Rono appears. She introduces herself cheerfully, tells him she'd be happy to partner with him, and smiles like nothing in the world could possibly go wrong. Students nearby immediately start laughing. She looks soft, harmless, almost as weak as Subai, at least on the surface. Subai looks at her, looks at the laughing students, makes a decision. He insults her, directly, deliberately, without hesitation. He calls her a pampered princess, tells her she'd just slow him down, and basically orders her to go home and cry about it. Internally, he's already congratulating himself. That'll send her running. Lin Rona tilts her head, thinks about what he just said, and decides he's pushing her away to protect her from being bullied by association. She announces she'll keep watch on the perimeter and leave him to work undisturbed. Subai watches her go with the expression of a man whose plan has failed so completely it almost looped back around to working. Fine, he thinks. At least she's out of my way. He enters the hunting zone. It is completely empty. Not a single monster anywhere. Not a rabbit. Not a bird. Nothing. Subai walks through the entire section and finds nothing but silence and cleared brush. He realizes Lin Rona's keeping watch on the perimeter apparently means she walked through and scared off, or eliminated, every single creature in the area before he arrived. He has nothing to farm. Then the earth shakes. A massive energy signature erupts from deep in the zone, far beyond the outskirts boundary where students are allowed to hunt. Colors bleed across the sky. The ground itself seems to flinch, and students in the distance start screaming. A Lord-class beast. Something that has absolutely no business being anywhere near a freshman field test. Something that puts even trained combat squads in danger. Other students are sprinting in every direction. One girl is screaming. The crowd is dissolving into full panic. Subai looks at the beast, looks at the fleeing students, looks back at the beast. Internally, he is vibrating with a joy that would be deeply alarming if anyone could see it. Pure unadulterated top-tier malice, he thinks. A Lord-class beast's killing intent. This will definitely max out the bar. He does what any reasonable F-rank student would do. He runs toward it, and he starts trash-talking. Two-headed dog. Come to Papa. You're nothing but a big chihuahua. The beast's attention locks onto him instantly. The rage coming off it is so thick the air around it distorts. Lord-level rage detected. Malice plus 10%. Subai takes off running, the beast thundering behind him, close enough that he can feel the heat of its breath. He is barely surviving. Every step is a near miss. He is completely in over his head, and he is absolutely, genuinely thrilled about it. Back near the entrance, the student Subai pulled the beast away from her, catching their breath. Tai's group, watching from a safe distance, makes the call quickly. Going back is suicide. If that F-rank idiot wants to die, let him. They start planning their cover story. They'll say Subai lured the beast toward the group on purpose. Make it his fault. It's cleaner that way. Then Yishuang arrives. She takes one look at the students. All of them completely unscratched. All of them alive. None of them accounting for Subai. And her expression does something quiet and dangerous. Is that monster a vegan? She asks. The silence that follows is the answer. One student, to their credit, actually tells the truth. Subai lured it away. An F rank, alone, against a Lord-class beast. Yi Shuang's expression shifts in a way that makes the air feel heavier. If anything happens to him, she says, voice steady as stone, I will bury every last one of you with him. Meanwhile, in the hunting zone, Subai is running out of room. The beast is faster than him. It closes the gap. One slip and he's finished. This is real danger, and he knows it. But the system is climbing. 99.95%. 99.99%. Top it off, he thinks. Come on. The beast lunges. And the system hits 100%. Charging complete. Divine Demon Awakening, 100%. Ability unlocked. Devour. The word appears in his mind like a detonation. Subai stops running. He turns around. The Lord-class beast, all teeth and rage and killing intent, crashes toward him. And Subai devours it. Whole. The beast doesn't escape, doesn't flee, doesn't explode in a dramatic fight sequence. It simply ceases to exist, drawn into Subai like smoke into a vent. One moment it's there. The next it's gone. Gone. Not dead, consumed. Taken apart at the source and absorbed. Subai stands in the empty field afterward. No injuries. No drama. Tastes average, he thinks. He is dissatisfied with the flavor of a Lord-class monster. This is our hero, everyone. This is our guy. He walks back out of the hunting zone and finds students checking results on the big display screen. His combat score has posted, S rank. Top of the entire exam. Students who spent the whole test hunting in organized squads with proper formations couldn't touch his number. The reaction from the crowd is not what you might hope for. He cried his way to an S rank score. He's just dragging down the school's reputation. F rank with S marks. Clearly the system glitched. Subai stands in the middle of this, and internally his expression could only be described as a chef tasting their own cooking and finding it perfect. Yes, he thinks. That's the look. All this hate makes for a perfect snack. He is farming the envy as enthusiastically as he farmed the fear. After the field test results settle, Subai makes one specific request to the school administration. He wants to be assigned to the abandoned school building as his dormitory. The one that's falling apart. The one nobody uses. Demon King's Lair. He tells himself with quiet satisfaction. He moves his things in. The building is empty. Quiet. Perfect. Then he opens the door to find Yishuang already there. Her luggage is unpacked. She's made herself comfortable. She announces, with complete composure, that the academy is testing mixed-gender housing due to resource constraints. Subai stares at her. I don't believe that. She tells him she's fascinated by his anatomy. He puts his things down, turns around, and says he just remembered he has class, and walks directly back out of the building at maximum speed. He does not have class. It is 8 at night. And yes, it absolutely gets worse. The next day in class, the combat instructor, Wang Lehu, runs through survival theory. Rule 1, he says, is stay alive. Don't be a hero. Running from a threat you can't fight isn't cowardice, it's strategy. Subai sits in the middle of a classroom full of students and decides this is his opportunity to generate some hatred from authority. He publicly contradicts the instructor. Out loud. In front of everyone. He calls the theory coward trash. The students around him physically recoil. They've heard about Instructor Wang. He destroys troublemakers. Whatever goodwill Subai has accumulated from the field test is about to be spent in one catastrophic moment. Subai braces himself. This is going to be magnificent. Instructor Wang stares at him for a long moment. Then he smiles. Broadly, he calls Subai a true warrior with perfect instincts. He tells the class that this is exactly the attitude that separates real fighters from the mediocre. He praises Subai in front of everyone with genuine, enthusiastic warmth. Students who hated Subai 2 minutes ago are now looking at him like he just pulled off the coolest move in school history. Subai sits in his chair with the expression of someone watching their carefully constructed plan collapse in real time. Stop praising me, he thinks. The demon god will starve. The universe is apparently determined to make Subai popular against his will. But not everyone is ready to let it go that easily. A student named Lai Gong, B rank and built like he wants people to know it, has heard that Subai was getting cocky with the instructor. He finds Subai and confronts him. Loudly. With witnesses. Subai looks at him with something close to relief. Are you here to hit me? He asks. Do it. Don't hold back. Lai Gong attacks. Full B rank power. No hesitation. His own force reflects back into his hand. The crack of bone is audible. Lai Gong's hand shatters from his own attack. He stares at it, then at Subai, then back at his hand. Then he runs. Subai watches him go and yells after him with what sounds like genuine frustration. Wait, I really didn't mean to fight back. He wasn't lying. The damage reflection is passive. He doesn't control it. He just needed the hit, not the consequence. Nearby, watching the whole exchange from around a corner, Yishuang's expression softens into something complicated. She has decided, somehow, that Subai intentionally broke Li Gong's hand in a carefully calibrated way to teach him a lesson without actually killing him, so that the bully would be deterred but not martyred. She finds this deeply moving. Subai is not doing any of that. He just wanted to get hit and eat the B-rank malice. But this is the dynamic. This is what makes the story extraordinary. Yishuang is always reading him completely wrong. She's always seeing a hidden genius of compassion where there's just a guy trying to get punched in the face for power. And somehow, her interpretation always ends up capturing something true about who Subai actually is, buried underneath all the calculated deadpan. The arc is building. The demon god is fed. The abilities are unlocking. And the enemies are starting to get more organized. Things at school settle into a new and profoundly frustrating rhythm for Subai. Everyone is being too nice. He walks through the hallway, and people who used to mock him either apologize or step aside, with something approaching respect. The students who bullied him have seen enough to decide discretion is the better part of survival. Even people who openly hated him a week ago are giving him wide, polite berths. The malice income has dried up to a trickle. Subai is essentially walking through a food desert. Is it really that hard to be a bad guy? He thinks, watching a student who used to call him worthless wave at him with a genuine smile. A group sewer mission is assigned. Clear out rats from the underground passages beneath the training district. Subai's team immediately assigns him to carry gear. Because his rank is F and they've already written him off as useless, even after the field test. He's cargo to them. Furniture with legs. Subai doesn't argue. He nods, picks up the gear, and then slips away before the mission even starts. The team watches him go and mutters amongst themselves. Ran off before we even began. What a coward. Subai moves through the sewers alone. Fast. Efficient. Looking for something worth fighting. He reaches the main infestation zone and finds it completely clean. Already cleared. Not even a rat skeleton left. Footprints in the mud lead him to an obvious conclusion. Lin Rona, who was also on this mission, apparently swept through the entire section before he got there. She leaves him nothing. Again. Meanwhile, the school announces a freshman wilderness survival trial. Zone 7. Grayfield Valley. A full field exercise with actual terrain, actual monsters, and actual stakes. Subai looks at the announcement board and the crowd of freshmen signing up, and his internal monologue delivers the most unhinged sentence of the week. The buffet is finally open. Lin Rona appears beside him. Freshman. Also enrolled. She gives him a cheerful wave. Subai, internally. That woman is going to ruin my malice grind again. They assemble in Grayfield Valley. A large group of freshmen with their gear and their nerves, led by the dean of students, a man named Aleph Young. Dean Young is grandfatherly, calm, reassuring. He tells them the Alliance army swept this entire area just last week. The danger is essentially zero. This is a learning exercise, not a combat deployment. Subai squints at him. Something about this old man is wrong. He can't place it yet, but something is deeply, fundamentally off. Students are chatting, setting up camp, wandering in small clusters. The signal cuts out. Dean Young explains it's magnetic interference, totally normal for this region. Nothing to worry about. Then Subai wanders off to scout the perimeter alone. He comes back and stops. The field ahead of him is not a training ground. It is a field of bodies. Dozens of them. Students, animals, scattered and still, the ground soaked into silence. Subai walks through it slowly, reading the scene. This place, he thinks quietly, is a straight-up graveyard. Behind him, back at camp, the dean has dropped the act entirely. Aleph Young stands in front of the assembled freshmen and smiles. And it is not the smile of a dean of students. He announces, to a crowd of teenagers who have just realized their signal is cut, and they are completely alone out here, that this location is a restaurant. For the beast god. A king-class demon bear crashes through the trees. Students scatter. B ranks and C ranks who had been feeling confident 5 minutes ago are running in pure animal panic. The bear is enormous, terrible, its killing intent so thick that lesser warriors are literally too afraid to form coherent thoughts. Subai, somewhere in the chaos, is experiencing something like transcendence. A king-class beast's malice level, he thinks. You are a freaking legend. This is a 5-star feast. Lin Rona tries to fight. She positions herself and takes a swing at the bear, and the beast turns on her instantly, because apparently even a king-class demon bear can identify the most threatening target in a room. Subai steps in front of it, not with a weapon, not in a combat stance. He steps between the bear and Lin Rona and looks up at a creature that could level this entire valley without slowing down, and he opens his mouth. Don't touch him. Come get me. I'm way juicier. Then, and this is not an exaggeration, he describes himself to the bear as pure fat, extra crispy, and invites it to come and get some. The system fires. Demon bear rage detected. Malice plus 0.1%, plus 0.15%, climbing. Students watching him from behind their cover have a very specific reaction. His legs are visibly shaking. He is clearly terrified. He is F rank. He has no business standing between a king-class predator and anything, and he is doing it anyway, and no one can understand why. Why would he do something so stupid? Someone whispers. Not mockingly, with genuine, raw bewilderment. Because this looks, from the outside, like a young man who is afraid and doing it anyway. The bear nearly kills him. It gets close enough that the outcome hangs on centimeters. Subai absorbs the damage through gritted teeth, feeding it back into the system, squeezing every drop of malice out of a creature that is genuinely trying to end him. And then Yishuang arrives. Glacial burst, a wave of ice-type energy so concentrated it forces even the king-class bear to flinch and retreat. The beast turns and flees into the forest. The immediate crisis is over. Yishuang looks at Subai, and she is furious in a way that's distinct from her usual controlled power. This is the fury of someone who is genuinely frightened. You have some nerve provoking a king-class beast. If you're this reckless again, I'll show you what's what. She goes to track down the dean. Subai stands there, damaged and satisfied, watching her go. They find Olaf Young. The students want immediate execution. Subai stops them. I have questions, he says. The dean breaks quickly under pressure. Offers everything he knows in exchange for his life. He tells them this is only the beginning. The target isn't just a few students. The blood moon is coming, and on that day, everyone will become a sacrifice. The whole plan, the whole scale of what the beast god cult is building toward. Then something happens. A seal activates inside the dean's body. Not voluntarily, from a distance, remotely triggered. The dean's voice cuts off mid-sentence. He collapses. Whatever he was about to reveal dies with his ability to speak. The cult has ears everywhere. Someone was listening. Yishuang makes the call immediately. Get everyone out. Report to command. This is bigger than a field exercise. But the malice from this arc? The combination of the bear's killing intent plus the dean's betrayal plus dozens of students in genuine fear? Subai is eating well tonight. Back at the school, in the aftermath of the Greyfield Valley incident, a new development arrives. A senior student named Boss Long, whose brother is Lai Gong, the B rank whose hand Subai broke, has been watching Subai with calculating eyes. Someone suggests Subai might be a hidden talent worth taking seriously. Long dismisses it immediately. He's just an F-rank orphan with no backing. But he starts moving pieces anyway. Long accesses the upcoming battle bracket before it's published. He finds Subai's name and moves it, not to a harder normal match, not to an A-rank sparring assignment. He moves Subai into Abyss mode, the S-rank graduation simulation, the one with a 99% death rate even in simulation form, the one where the mental shock alone can cause brain death even if your body survives. When the bracket posts, students see it immediately. The reaction is instant and unambiguous. This kid definitely pissed someone off. They're trying to bury him. Subai looks at his bracket. Opponents are all A-rank beasts minimum. The final boss of the simulation is something that trained S-rank candidates approach as a group. He reads the bracket carefully. Then his internal monologue delivers the line of the arc. This sounds like an all-you-can-eat buffet. The simulation activates. 100 bloodthirsty wolves, Wave 1. The monitoring professors watch the energy readings and immediately start frowning. The numbers are wrong. The system can't process what it's seeing. How can he exceed SR human? One of them says. The system can't even process his existence. Boss Wong, who arranged this death trap, demands the difficulty be increased. Final boss released. Peak C rank Void Hunter. Something that has destroyed entire squads of advanced trainees. The simulation locks out. The display crashes. The monitoring systems go dark. On the outside, the professors are staring at blank screens. On the inside, Subai is standing in a cleared field. The final boss, the peak C-rank Void Hunter, has been consumed entirely. No trace remains. Not a fragment. Not an echo. Subai's internal assessment. I haven't even warmed up yet. The professors scramble back into the recording data. One of them goes very quiet and very still. A peak C-rank, he says slowly. Swallowed whole. Not a trace left. Another one says it out loud. Subai is a monster in human skin. More dangerous than the beasts. And then one professor makes a motion. Officially. On record. Subai should be purged. Immediately. For national security. The room goes still. Yishuang takes one step forward. Who dares lay a finger on him? She says, blade implied in every syllable. Answers to me first. She presents her data, a full month of surveillance. Subai's power is raw, she argues, but it is stable. More stable than anyone in that room. And if there is anyone alive who can end the war with the beasts, it is him. Kill him, and humanity loses its only real trump card. The purge proposal is denied. Subai is placed under stricter surveillance. And behind the scenes, Boss Long stares at the simulation results and realizes he has not sent Subai to his death. He has fed him. The Bureau 9 recruitment happens fast. Subai wakes up in medical care after the Abyss Mode incident and finds the director of Bureau 9 sitting in the room. The director is direct. Bureau 9 knows what Subai is. The offer is simple. Join them or be executed. Subai considers this for approximately 1 second. Fine, but I have demands. The director, who has presumably dealt with some serious people in his career, leans in. Subai says, I want a salary and full benefits. That's it. That's the demand. A paycheck. The director looks at him for a long moment. Then he agrees. At Bureau 9, the agent size Subai up immediately and dismiss him. He has no presence, no aura, no obvious power signature. He pulled strings with the Night War God. He's ordinary. He'll hold them back. Subai stands there soaking in their contempt like a man standing in warm sunlight. An agent named V challenges him to a spar. If you lose, leave special ops. He attacks with S-class lightning. Full output. It does nothing. V stares at him. What is your actual level? Doesn't matter, Subai says. Call me for dangerous missions. Otherwise leave me alone. His first real mission, a sub-king class deep sea kraken. The team outlines the strategy, range distraction, melee breach, weakness scouting, multiple phases. It's a solid plan. Subai ignores all of it. The team hasn't even reached the deployment point when he jumps into the ocean. I'm hungry, he explains, and grabs the kraken. Sub-king class detected. Malice plus 15%. Diamond body evolution plus 5%. Subai's review of the experience. Tastes average. The sauce is the soul of any raw dish. Mission complete. Team stunned. Code name assigned, Gluttony. This is appropriate. Meanwhile, deeper in Bureau 9, researchers reviewing Subai's DNA scans flag something alarming. His genetic structure is evolving toward a true demon god. Not metaphorically, literally. If the process continues, he will lose all human motivation and become a creature of pure consumption. Hunger without identity. Subai's response. As long as I remember who I am, I won't become a total monster. He says it simply, like it's a reasonable thing to assert against forces that reshape the human genome. A secret lab studying Demon God goes completely dark. No signal. No check-ins. Nothing. Bureau 9 deploys to investigate. Inside, the smell hits them first. Death and chaos and something older. Demon God cell energy, warped and wrong. Everyone inside is dead, replaced by mutated creatures running on stolen Demon God cells. They move like zombies but hit like siege weapons. Standard attacks don't work. Subai identifies the cell signature immediately. These things have Demon God energy inside them. Source adjacent. He starts walking toward them. A super mutant appears, something that shrugs off everything the team throws at it. It's not that it has armor or shields. Attacks simply don't register on it as damage. The team falls back. Subai steps forward. To the mutant, you're one of us, you ugly freak. He absorbs the first hit intentionally. Full damage. The impact tears through him, and his system fires warnings. Hit me harder, he says. devouring same source energy to evolve. New ability unlocked. Feast of Agony. The ability triggers. His damage converts into fuel. The super mutant is disassembled from the inside out. Gone. Game over, Subai says. You ugly freak. The team watches from a distance. Someone starts a new file on Subai. The label reads, "Do not engage under any circumstances." Now, the international tournament. The Bureau 9 director invites Subai to represent China at the International Awaken Summit, a global tournament where nations flex their military-grade ability users against each other. China has been on a losing streak. The director wants results. He shows Subai the competition roster. Other nations have sent their actual weapons. Cyborgs, enhanced bloodlines, multi-ability composites. And then the director pauses on one entry. The U.S. destroyer. 90% mechanized. What isn't machine is enhanced biology. He is, quite literally, a walking arsenal. Yishuang pulls Subai aside before the event. If you're outmatched, surrender immediately. I won't let anything happen to you. Subai looks at the destroyer's profile image. Surrender? This is the perfect testing ground. In the hallway before the match, Subai encounters the destroyer in person. The man towers over him. He looks at Subai and calls him a runt. Says it looks like China ran out of real men. Subai replies that the destroyer is blocking his light. Then adds that the engine oil smell is genuinely disgusting. The destroyer tells him he's dead meat on that stage. Subai nods like he's filing this away as useful information. The arena fight begins. The destroyer doesn't warm up, doesn't feel out his opponent. He fires his ultimate ability immediately. Greenback laser cannon. Full output. Maximum charge. The kind of attack that doesn't leave wreckage. It just leaves absence. The crowd holds their breath. Subai absorbs the entire blast. He doesn't move. He doesn't brace. He stands in the beam and the energy pours into him like water into a jar, and when it stops he is still standing, perfectly still, expression unchanged. The destroyer stares. Impossible. What kind of monster are you? Subai tilts his head. My turn. One hit. The destroyer is down. The arena is silent for 3 seconds that feel like a geological event. Then it erupts. Not with cheering, with a completely different energy. The generals and military observers from other nations watching from their private boxes are not clapping. They're talking quietly and urgently into secure calm lines. Physical immunity. Energy absorption. Walking nuke. Those are the words being used. And the conclusion every international military observer reaches at the same time. If they let him keep growing, he becomes a threat to everyone. Decision made, in secret, immediately. In the next phase of the tournament, every international team will coordinate against a single target. One F-rank kid from China. Phase 2 of the tournament, the island survival round. All contestants are scattered across an island. Last team standing wins. Subai drops in. He is immediately surrounded. Not by one nation's fighters. All of them. U.S., European Coalition, Japanese Advanced Unit. They have stopped fighting each other entirely. They haven't broken off into faction groups. They have formed a unified coalition with one objective. Kill Subai. The crowd watching the live broadcast cannot believe what they're seeing. They've got no class, someone says. Full dogpile on one person. Subai surveys the forces arrayed against him. Quite the welcoming party, he says. Are you guys just here to feed me? He is not being figurative. Wave after wave, absorbed. Weapons, eaten. Literally eaten, in some cases. He takes a blade someone throws at him and bites into it. This blade has a nice kick of iron, he notes. Multiple nations fire everything. Kinetic weapons, energy blasts, composite attacks, all of it absorbed. The general in command of the coalition watches from the coordinating station as nothing works. Conventional means can't kill him, the general says quietly. Go off the books. All units evacuate the island. Immediately. From orbit, a targeting system locks onto the island's coordinates. God's Wrath satellite. A weapon that cost $4 billion to build and position. Designed for situations where conventional force is insufficient. An orbital strike platform that hits with planetary-scale energy. Subai looks up at the sky. The glow appears through the atmosphere. A descending column of energy so massive it makes the island's shadows vanish. Finally, he says, no more appetizers. The beam hits. Warning. Energy at 500%. Structural failure imminent. Release it now. He is overloaded. The system is screaming. His body is at capacity and pushing past it. He has absorbed a weapon of mass destruction, and his physique cannot hold it all. He does the only thing he can do. He shapes the excess into a concentrated spear and fires it upward. Into orbit. The $4 billion God's Wrath satellite evaporates. Subai stands on the island. The only person on it. The only thing standing, surrounded by the aftermath of an orbital weapon strike. Thanks, he says to no one in particular. Just go easy on the spice next time. Serious heartburn. In the international observers' boxes, someone says very quietly, the laws of physics are officially dead. I bet you didn't see that coming. They fired a weapon built to flatten cities at one kid, and he used the energy to destroy the weapon. The beast invasion comes without a clean warning. It comes as numbers. 100 million units. That is the scale of what pours through the rifts when the Abyss War begins. Not a raid. Not an incursion. A full civilizational assault. The kind of event that gets written into the histories of whoever survives it. Subai does the math quickly. He can handle 10,000 units at his current output. That sounds impressive until you place it against 100 million and realize it doesn't even register as a percentage. The fleet takes massive damage. Gates are breached. Command operations start ordering retreat, structured withdrawal, fall back to defensible positions, preserve the chain of command. Subai doesn't move. He looks at the breach, at the horde pushing through it, at the city behind him. If I leave now, he says simply, who holds the line? And he stays. Alone. Against the main horde. He tells them to keep their heads on because he'll be serving them up next time. And then he starts doing exactly what he's always done. Absorbing. Devouring. Converting destruction into fuel, malice into power, an entire army's killing intent into the single most concentrated power source in the world. He holds the line. He holds it until the command forces can reorganize. He holds it until the immediate breach is sealed. He holds it until the worst of it is pushed back. And then his body starts to fail. Not from injury. From something worse. The rate of absorption was too high. His cells aren't just processing, they're consuming. His own tissue. His metabolism has gone critical. Nutrients burn through him faster than any four can replace them. The medical team surrounds him and runs diagnostics, and the assessment is delivered in very calm, very alarming terms. His body is a black hole. He'll burn himself to ashes from the inside in less than 2 hours. Standard medicine won't work. Standard fuel won't work. His metabolism is operating at a scale that needs something correspondingly massive to satisfy it. And then the coast alarm fires. Emperor-class beast. The Leviathan. An entity so large and so dense with biological energy that it registers as its own weather system when it moves. It lands on the coast with an impact that rattles windows in buildings miles inland. Yishuang makes the call. It is, objectively, insane. But it is also the only thing that makes sense. Lure the Leviathan to Subai. It's the only fuel dense enough to save him. The plan. Get the Leviathan close, pry open its mouth for 1 second. That's all Subai needs. Subai looks at the Leviathan approaching. Despite everything. Despite the critical body failure. Despite the agony of his cells eating themselves. Despite 2 hours until he ceases to exist. His internal assessment is immediate. This piece of meat looks pretty juicy. The team executes. Forces distract, maneuver, and at the critical moment, pry open the Leviathan's jaws by force. 1 second. Subai dives inside. Into the Leviathan's stomach. To eat it from within. Cell activity hits 200%. Warning lights cascade across every diagnostic system Bureau 9 has. Yishuang watches the readings and doesn't blink. Inside. Still not enough. I am stuffed. Time to settle the bill. Subai eats the Leviathan from the inside out. Then, in perhaps the most absurd moment of a story that has been consistently absurd, he drags the creature's body out through its own stomach and collapses it from within. The Leviathan, an emperor-class creature that could have leveled a coastal city, is gone. Consumed. Processed. Digested. Subai walks out. His cells stabilize. The black hole in his metabolism fills. The crisis is over. Yishuang approaches him. She is carrying something, a weapon she forged overnight. She explains it's made from nano-alloy mixed with bone powder from a creature named a scub. She worked on it while he was critical. Instead of sleeping, she holds it out to him. You still owe me a meal. Come back alive and treat me to it. Subai takes the weapon. He looks at it. Then he says, fine. Just don't complain about street food. It is the closest thing to a promise he knows how to make. But the cost of the war isn't finished presenting its bill. After absorbing Imperial-level energy, the concentrated killing intent of 100 million units plus the biological payload of an Emperor-class beast, Subai's mental defenses begin to crack. The demon god has been patient. It has waited while Subai grew. It has watched him fight, absorb, evolve. And now, with Subai's mental stability at its lowest point, the ancient entity inside him begins to move. Demon God awakening. Mental stability redlining. The voice comes from inside. Cold, absolute, older than anything Subai has encountered. The vessel is too small. You cannot contain my godhood. Surrender your body. I will slaughter all the invaders for you. We will both be satisfied. Subai pushes back. From inside his own mind, he engages in a battle that no one outside can see. A war of identity, of self, of who owns this body and what it is for. He loses ground. The berserk state hits suddenly. Subai's expression goes blank in a new way, not the controlled blankness of his usual deadpan, but the absence of recognition. Ally signals register as threat signals. The demon god's instincts override human ones. He doesn't recognize anyone. Command's response is immediate. Maximum output, suppress him. He's classified as the threat now. Bureau 9 Director, requesting backup. Response, there is no backup rated for this. Yishuang doesn't step back. Everyone is screaming at her. He doesn't recognize you. He'll kill you. Stay back. She walks toward him. She stops in front of him. This unstable, half-devoured entity that used to be the guy she's been misreading for months, and speaks. You promised you'd stay alive for that dinner. Inside Subai's mind, the demon god hits a wall. Not a physical one. Something the ancient entity, with all its eons of existence, has never encountered before. The sound of someone calling out to a person who matters. Subai hears her. He claws back through the fog and the hunger and the entity pushing at every wall, and he finds the thing that is still him. He grabs it and holds. The demon god retreats. Not defeated. Not destroyed. Pushed back. Subai surfaces. Eyes clear. He looks at Yishuang standing in front of him and says the thing he says to an entity older than civilization. In this body, I'm the driver. You're nothing but the engine. Sit tight and let me digest you. The demon god, and this is remarkable, responds with something that sounds almost like confusion. Almost like pain. Why do I feel pain? Subai doesn't miss a beat. Because I'm human. A mindless beast like you will never understand. The war is over. For now. But the demon god knows something it didn't before. The vessel has something inside it that power alone cannot take. After the Abyss War, a major international partnership ceremony is organized. Diplomatic. Symbolic. The kind of event designed to project stability when everything has been destabilized. Subai tells Yishuang to cancel it. Not with specific intelligence. Not with a detailed threat report. Just a gut sense, something is wrong with this event. Don't go. She tried. Command rejected it. Can't cancel an international diplomatic ceremony based on a feeling. Bad optics. Political fallout. The show must go on. It goes on. Midway through the proceedings, the energy spikes. A scarlet barrier activates, a containment seal that traps everyone inside the venue. There is no exit. Armed attackers materialize through concealed positions. The crowd, which was dressed for a ceremony, is now inside a box with no doors. The attackers identify their priority target immediately. Kill the kid first. Subai. Yishuang moves immediately. She is everywhere, blade cutting through assailant formations, protecting civilians, buying time. But the numbers are wrong. There are too many of them, and they're too organized, and this wasn't planned yesterday. The cult leader steps forward, and he explains the whole thing. Not out of arrogance, out of certainty. He has won. He is explaining the mechanism of a completed trap. The plan, sacrifice thousands of students with elite bloodlines. Sacrifice the blood of an SS rank war god. Open the gates to the divine realm. Receive godhood from the beast god. Evolution. Transcendence. Humanity rising above its current ceiling to become something worthy of the cosmos. He looks at Yishuang as the designated sacrifice. Yishuang is badly wounded. The numbers finally made contact. She is bleeding, and she knows the math, and she screams at Subai from across the room. Run! Don't look back! You have to live. Subai doesn't run. He steps forward instead, and he says, with the tone of someone describing an appetizer menu, "What a delicious smell! Fear, despair, and a genius's blood." He positions himself between the cult leader and Yi Xuan. The cult leader looks at this small, unremarkable young man who has walked into the center of a divine trap and dismisses him immediately. One slip through the cracks. Subai's expression doesn't change. "Who did you say you were going to sacrifice?" The cult leader demands Subai kneel before a divine envoy. The system fires. Extreme rage detected in host. Forced evolution of demon god physique. New ability unlocked. What happens next is not described in detail in the records. What is known is that the cult leader was defeated. The Scarlet Barrier came down. The ceremony survivors walked out. The beast god cult's grand ritual did not happen. What Subai devoured that night, whether it was the cult leader's power, the barrier's energy, the divine envoy's strength, or all of it, is filed under classified in Bureau 9's records. The Blood Moon prophecy the Dean hinted at never comes to pass. The gates are never opened. One F-rank kid and his demon god physique closed them before they could. After the ceremony incident, the Abyss Rift problem comes back to the table. The rift that opened during the invasion, the main one, the source, has not closed. It cannot close on its own. It will remain open indefinitely, a permanent wound in the world's geometry, pouring through whatever it pleases. Subai makes a request. He wants to enter it alone. The director looks at him like he's suggested they go fight the sun. You're out of your mind. That's an unknown dimension. You might not come back. Subai's counterargument. If he doesn't go, the rift never closes. And the entity on the other side, the one that sent the invasion, has, in Subai's words, already sent him an invitation. It would be rude not to show up. The director gives him an interdimensional beacon. As long as it signals, they can track him. He also tells Subai, in the flattest possible tone that somehow contains everything he can't say out loud, that if Subai doesn't make it back, he will hate him for the rest of his life. And that Subai still owes him dinner. "I'm just going on a loot run," Subai says. "Not a suicide mission." He steps through the rift. The dimension on the other side is not what any intelligence profile prepared for. It is a graveyard. The ruins of a dead civilization stretch in every direction. Collapsed architecture of extraordinary scale, broken monuments to things that no longer exist, silence where there should be the sound of something alive. This place was once full. It is now empty in the way that only places that used to hold something important can be empty. Guardians attack immediately. Ancient, automated, violent. They don't ask questions. Subai absorbs them. Notes they taste a bit rancid. Keeps moving. He passes through the outer rings of the civilization's remains and finds the core. God entities. Ancient ones. Their remains, not their bodies exactly, but the echoes of what they were, scatter the central region like geological formations. This was a place where gods lived. And something killed them. More guardians. Waves of them. Subai tears through each one, adding their energy to what he's carrying, adjusting to the dimensional physics that are subtly different from Earth's. The air here doesn't quite work the same way. Gravity has opinions about things it shouldn't have opinions about. Then the voice comes. The Void Lord introduces himself not with a name, but with context. He tells Subai they are the same. Both of them devoured everything to survive. Both of them became, eventually, the hunger itself. The parallel is drawn precisely, methodically, as though it has been prepared in advance. He offers partnership. Rule the universe together. Two beings that cannot be killed, consuming and expanding without limit. Subai listens to the entire pitch. Then he gives his answer. You became monsters just to stay alive. What a sad, disgusting story. I don't eat intelligent life. I'm a neat freak. I don't make friends with trash that turns their home into a dump. He pauses. So either you die or you die anyway. The Void Lord accepts this. The fight begins, and it is the first fight in this entire story where Subai is legitimately losing. The Void Lord controls the physics of his own realm. Gravity rejection, atmospheric toxicity, energy pathways that don't work the way they should. He's not just powerful, he's the rules. He is the game board, and the game board does not want Subai to win. Subai nullifies what he can and pushes through what he can't. I've always hated being restricted. The Void Lord cuts his energy supply off entirely. Not attacks, the actual supply of ambient energy Subai draws from the environment. Suppression at 90%. Subai's recovery rate collapses. I'm a god here. Getting this far is commendable. But this is where it ends. Subai's energy drops. His regeneration flatlines. And then the Void Lord does something final. He severs Subai's threads of fate, the metaphysical connections to Earth, to the people there, to the system, to everything that anchors him as a person rather than a hunger. Subai is now alone in an enemy dimension. Energy suppressed. Connection to home cut. Losing. For the first time in the story, genuinely, structurally, actually losing. The beacon signal drops to 5%. 5%. That's what reaches Earth from Subai's beacon. A weak flicker of signal from a dimension that the rest of the universe doesn't acknowledge. The director stares at the readout. The transmission rate is too low to get a lock. Too low to send reinforcements even if they existed. He makes a decision that goes against every strategic protocol Bureau 9 has ever written. He connects to the global broadcast. Every screen, every channel, every device that can receive a signal in the world, and billions of them light up simultaneously. The broadcast goes out in every language, over every frequency, and it shows Subai. Not fighting, not victorious, struggling, alone, losing. Yishuang speaks. Her voice is steady in the way that things become steady when they are held together by will rather than calm. That idiot is fighting for us in another dimension. He's at his limit. He's protected us countless times. This time it's our turn. The pause. Even if it's just a little, please believe in him. Call out his name. 7 billion people. The transmission rate spikes. It goes from 5%, then 50, then past 100. It hits 1,000% and keeps climbing. The portal in the Bureau 9 monitoring room begins to tear itself open from the sheer pressure of civilizational while pushing through a 5% signal. In the enemy dimension, Subai feels something change. Not in the environment. In himself. The threads the Void Lord cut, they reconnect. Not the original connections. Something bigger. Every thread of every person on Earth, 7 billion individual connections, flowing into him simultaneously. The dimensional suppression doesn't account for this. There is no suppression rated for this. Ultimate form, guardian of civilization. The suppression lifts. Subai rises. The Void Lord stares. Impossible. You're just one person here. Subai looks at him. Right now I have 7 billion teammates carrying me. He was always the most isolated character in the story. The one who pushed everyone away, who let himself be mocked and beaten rather than let people get close enough to be used against him. The one who turned every human connection into a farming opportunity and kept everyone at arm's length. And here, at the absolute lowest point, he is more connected to humanity than anyone in history has ever been. The Void Lord activates everything he has. Blue Soul ability, his final card. A power drawn from the fundamental substrate of existence. Something that rewrites the rules of engagement on the deepest possible level. Subai absorbs it. The Void Lord's expression, such as it is, shifts. My power. What is this? I told you, Subai says. Your pain is my nourishment. Those shackles of yours are just my leash. The Void Lord plays his final card. The one he believes cannot be beaten. You cannot kill me. As long as this world exists, I can be reborn infinitely. Kill me and I return. Kill me again and I return again. You cannot end this. Subai tilts his head. Who said I was going to kill you? A pause. A massive hunk of pure energy like this makes for the perfect dessert. The Void Lord, ancient, dimensional, infinite, is devoured. Not killed. Not banished. Consumed. Taken apart at the source and absorbed. The same way Subai absorbed the Lord-class beast in a field 3 years ago. The same way he absorbed a satellite in orbit. The same way he absorbed everything that ever tried to end him. The Void Lord's final words come as the process completes. You can't eat me. I'm source energy. Your body will explode. Subai, I could digest a star if I wanted to. The last words. Then let's die together. The dimension begins to collapse. Not gradually. The Big Bang of undoing. The stored energy of an ancient civilization's worth of accumulated power releasing simultaneously. Every wall, every rule, every physical constant in this realm deciding to stop being. The portal to Earth is open. People are getting through. The ones who managed to breach the rift in the chaos of the final battle, they're moving toward it. Some allies, some forces that followed Subai in. The portal is open and people are crossing. Subai runs the numbers. The door that seals this dimension can only be locked from the outside. If he crosses now, if everyone leaves while the collapse is active, the dimensional cascade follows them home. Earth absorbs a big bang. He stops running. He gets on the comm link. The signal is degrading. The building, everything, is coming down around him. Hey, is everyone there? Signal's bad. I'll keep this short. Static. Voices in the background. His team, Bureau 9, people who have been running this operation from Earth's side. The building over here is coming down. To keep everyone back home safe, I've got to stay and hold the line. The director's voice comes through immediately. Don't be an idiot. Get back here. We can seal it with nukes. It's no use. Only my power can neutralize these forces. Then he finds Yi Shuang on the line. Young, I owe you that meal. I'm charging daily interest. A pause. Stop crying. You're too pretty to let your makeup run. He finds Hungu. Make sure you collect my final paycheck. Deposit it to my account. The link breaks. Subai stands alone in a collapsing dimension, an interdimensional graveyard falling apart around him, the echo of a god he just ate still settling in his system, and he seals the door. From the inside, his last conscious thought, as the collapse closes around him, finally, some peace and quiet. Time to go under and finish this. Hope I have a sweet dream. 3 years pass. Yi Shuang stands at the edge of the Pacific Ocean. The wind is quiet in that particular way that places have when something important is missing from them. Even the winds over the Pacific have gone quiet, she says. When are you coming home for dinner? Hunga tells her the probe hasn't picked up a signal in over a year. The implication is obvious. The reading everyone has stopped saying out loud. Yi Shuang doesn't move. The signal isn't dead. It's just reconnecting. She says it every time. She has said it every day. She keeps saying it. Then the alarms fire. Spatial collapse detected, coordinates directly above Memorial Path. Energy readings coming in at 100 times stronger than the Golden Incident. Whatever is tearing through the atmosphere above Earth's Memorial District is not a small phenomenon. Defense forces scramble. The alert goes to every Bureau 9 station simultaneously. A massive entity tears through the dimensional membrane and falls. Forces aim. Weapons lock. Whatever that thing is, if it wants past this gate, it goes through me first. It lands. The impact sends a shockwave through the surrounding area. Dust and debris. Silence. Then a voice, completely, unmistakably familiar, rises from the crater. Quite the reception. Did you come out just to welcome me home? Yi Shuang finds him. She has been standing at that ocean for a year. She crosses the distance in seconds. And she completely breaks down. 3 years of standing at the water. 3 years of the signal is just reconnecting. 3 years of waiting for something that everyone around her had quietly, carefully, gently stopped waiting for. Subai looks at her. Sorry, he says. The food back there was too tough. Took a while to digest. She hits him. Then she cries. Then she holds on. This is not a heroic moment. It is not a triumphant one. It is the thing that follows triumph. The part where the cost of everything finally lands on the people who were left waiting. Subai lets her. But something is wrong. He can feel it. He checks himself, and the readings confirm it. His body is restructuring at a level that Earth's systems cannot process. He absorbed too much. His life level jumped too fast. His soul itself is glitching. The medical team says it plainly. Earth's server cannot render his model anymore. He needs the stasis chamber. Immediately. His body needs time to recalibrate to a level of existence that the physical world can accommodate. Students from the academy bring him food. Every kind, whatever he wants. Bureau 9 agents stand in the hallway outside the stasis chamber. The director, who had sworn to hate him if he didn't come back, makes no attempt to maintain that threat. Yi Shuang stands watch. You were cold in that world, she tells him. Not anymore. It's our turn to protect you now. He stabilizes. The restructuring completes. The model renders. Subai wakes up as the honorary principal of the academy he used to attend as a fake F rank. The school where he got mocked in hallways, where people told him to stay away, where a scanner read his energy and had its results secretly changed. He tries to keep a low profile. It lasts approximately 45 minutes. A new student finds him and challenges him, calls him someone who leeches off women. demands a fight in the arena. Subai sighs. He tags the student with a casual gesture. The student is launched. Where did this annoying fly come from? He says, looking mildly inconvenienced. And somewhere inside him, the system delivers a final status report. The demon god, the ancient entity that has lived in him since before his transmigration, that tried to take over his body, that threatened to consume his identity, that spent the entire story as his engine and his adversary, is fully digested. Gone. Processed. Absorbed. But the notification adds one more line. You've barely scratched the surface. There are higher levels. There are deeper forms. The universe, apparently, has more to offer a being who runs on malice and refuses to stop being human. Then the message from Bureau 9 arrives. The demon god's new engine is ready. There is work to be done, not on Earth this time. In the universe beyond it. Because the Void Lord wasn't the only thing out there treating civilizations like batteries. Because Earth, in the grand scale of things, has only just introduced itself to what exists beyond its rift lines. Subai looks at the message. Then he turns to Yi Shuang. You coming? Yi Shuang has had 3 years to think about her answer. Dr. Yi, she says, with a small smile that carries everything the story has been building toward. Here to join the captain for a trip to the stars. It would be my honor. They leave together. Not because Subai asked her to protect him. Not because she decided he needed saving. Together, as equals, heading into a universe that neither of them has mapped yet. The final line of the story lands quietly, carrying the weight of everything that came before it. The universe is vast. If we don't take the initiative, Earth will never be safe. This is Subai, the kid who transmigrated with nothing, who hosted an ancient demon god and used it as an engine, who let people bully him for power and called it farming, who stood in front of a king-class beast because the malice was good and ended up saving everyone in the process, who went alone into a collapsing dimension and told his friends not to cry before sealing himself inside, who came back and is now heading into the stars with the only person who ever read him completely wrong and accidentally got him exactly right. The universe has no idea what's coming. If this story hit you, drop a comment with your favorite moment. Like and subscribe. There's a lot more where this came from.